माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय गिरिवर धारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रिज जनि रंजन, 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 जमुना तीर बन जाए, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय गिरिवर धारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे हरे, राधे कृष्णा 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे राधे, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyama, Shyam Shyama, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Shyam Shyam, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Shyam Shyam, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Krishna, oh Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, oh Radhe Radhe. Radhe, oh Radhe Shyama, oh Radhe Shyama, Shyama Shyama, oh Radhe Radhe. Radhe, oh Radhe Krishna, oh Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyama, Shyam Shyama, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyama, Shyam Shyama, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Shyama, Shyama Shyam, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyama, Shyam Shyama, Radhe Radhe. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Santi Santi Santi.
Welcome to our evening satsang. Such a beautiful, beautiful blessing to be here on the banks of Mother Ganga, connecting with you all in this deep experience of satsang, of truth, of oneness and awakening together. So I'm so glad that you're all here, that you're all here together with us and able to have the beautiful darshan of Mother Ganga. I'm just waiting for the day that the pandemic subsides, the restrictions are let go, and we're able to just welcome everyone back home here to the banks of Ganga, where together we can do our sacred arati and then sit together in sacred satsang. But until that, it's such a beautiful gift to be able to connect with you in this way and to have this satsang together, where all of us, in all of our cities, in all of our countries, in whatever time zone it is for you, we're coming together. We're consciously stopping whatever we're doing, consciously making the time, consciously exhaling and coming together, slowing down, becoming still, making time for truth, making time for stillness, making time for spiritual depth and growth, So I'm so glad you've all made the time and that I get to be here with you, sitting on the banks of Mother Ganga, joining with you. And we have all of the questions that come in advance, but as you're watching, if you have questions either during the time of satsang or afterwards, today, tomorrow, during the week, questions that arise, just put them in the comments and our beautiful and amazing Seva team will take your questions and then give them to me as we come together in satsang. Yes.
I was in a long-term relationship with someone who said they would always be there for me and never leave me. But now they're in a new relationship. I know I can't control other people's actions, but I no longer feel trust and I feel empty. How do I let go of the pain and find love within me?
No matter how much our intellectual minds know that we cannot control others' actions, that we cannot control the weather, we cannot control the law of nature, we cannot control other people's karmic packages. Nonetheless, no matter how much we intellectually know that, it hurts in our hearts so much when people promise us one thing and then betray us. And it doesn't seem to matter how much intellectually in our minds we know. Nonetheless, that pain, that sting in the heart is there. So first of all, have compassion for yourself. Don't feel less than. Don't feel like you've made some mistake. It's so easy for us in those moments to berate ourselves and to say, oh, we never should have trusted. We are stupid. We are fools. Shouldn't have trusted, shouldn't have believed, shouldn't have cared, shouldn't have loved. And then we become our own worst judge. Don't. To love another being, to trust another being is beautiful. It's what we have this very human heart for. There is a reason, and a beautiful reason, that no matter how many times we are betrayed, we keep trusting. That no matter how many people who cheat us or cheat on us, we keep trusting, we keep believing. This is not foolishness. This is beautiful, tender humanness. So have compassion for yourself and appreciate the fact that we are not put here on earth with our highest goal being not to get hurt, not to be betrayed, not to be cheated. Our highest goal, our highest purpose is to experience the presence of the divine within us. And one of the most beautiful manifestations of the divine is love. One of the most beautiful ways of experiencing the divine is through love. Bhakti yoga, the path of devotion, is one of the most core paths to God. But as we speak about so frequently, loving God doesn't always mean just I worship God in the form of Krishna or Ram or Shiva or Durga in our mandirs. Or depending on my different religion, I worship God in that name or that form. That's not all that it means. It means that I'm able to see the divine and to love the divine in the creation. And so loving another being is a form of loving God. We are meant to love. We are not meant to harden our hearts, to build walls between us and the world. It's like that beautiful saying that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. When you love, you know you're alive. So I'm deeply sorry that you were betrayed, that you were lied to, that someone who promised you something did not fulfill that promise. And find love again. The greatest lesson in all of this is not don't trust. The greatest lesson in all of this is to remember how beautiful it feels to love. And every time there is that pain, to realize that that pain is there to remind you of how good it felt to love. So when that sting comes, instead of thinking, oh yeah, I'll never trust again, I'll never love again, I can't trust. Let that sting be that which reminds you to love again. Because loving is actually experiencing our highest self. And it doesn't mean that we go from romantic relationship to romantic relationship. It may not even necessarily be another human being you love right away. Let it be a tree. Let it be the ocean. Let it be the river. Let it be a sunset. Let it be a beautiful animal. And when we move into loving humans, there's nothing that says the highest form of love is romantic love. In fact, the highest form of love is loving God. Sabse unchi prem sagai. Highest form of love is love of God. So whatever we are able to love, whomever we are able to love and to understand that we are loving God in them, that is the highest form of love. So love the trees, love the birds, love the sunsets, love the rivers that flow, love the ocean. Love your parents, love your grandparents, love your neighbors. Love anyone and everyone you can. Don't mistake in your mind romance for love. Find love wherever you can. And you may choose to re-enter a romantic relationship at some point in your life. Probably you will. It's in relationship, in the yoga of relationships, that people who are not with the dharma of sannyas, not with the dharma of renunciation, it's in that yoga of relationships that people learn so much and grow so much and blossom so much. But don't rush into it. There's no need to do that. But don't stop loving. Don't stop trusting. In this moment, allow your heart to love. Allow your heart to trust. And again, it may be starting small. But know that love is the nature of who you are. So you have to keep loving. And remember also that God never promised you, love me and you'll never be betrayed. Love me, you'll never be cheated. Love me, no one will ever break your heart. God never promised us that. What God promises us is love me. And as you move through the world, You will move through the world in a way that is anchored and grounded and connected, so that the ups and downs of the world don't impact you so much. And lastly, remember, you are the one in charge of your own heart. You are the one. Other people will do whatever they do. They will lie, they will cheat, they will betray. They will do whatever they're going to do. That's their karmic package. But don't let any of that steal your ability to love, your ability to trust, your ability to fulfill your dharma, which is loving.
Why are we our own worst enemy?
So, when you say we are our own worst enemy, it's important to clarify who is the we. If I say to you, you are your own worst enemy, who is that you I'm speaking to? It's not your soul. It's not the truth of who you are. It's not your highest nature. It's the ignorance of your mind. It's the ego of the mind. It's the patterns, the subconscious of your mind. So you are your worst enemy because you are the one who actually keeps you from experiencing the love, the truth, the awakening, the enlightenment, which is your true nature, which is your true self. It is the mind that plays the games. It's the mind that says, oh, it's not fair. Why is she so beautiful and I'm so ugly? Why is she so popular and no one likes me? Why is he so handsome and I'm not? Why is he the one getting the raises and the promotions and I'm not? Why does he have this? Why does she have that? It's not fair. It's the mind that says, how dare you? I hate you. That's not fair. This isn't right. It's the mind that says, I'll be happy when I have this job, this money, this prestige, this, that. It's all the games of the mind. That is why you're your worst enemy. Not your heart, but your conditioned mind. And so this is where we have to overcome that pattern when we know my highest purpose, my dharma, the truth of who I am is to be love, to be light, to be truth, to experience love, to experience light, to experience truth. When I know that's my highest purpose, what is it that blocks me? What is the voice, the pattern, the habit that makes me hit snooze in the morning instead of getting up to meditate? What is it that keeps me from opening my heart, from being that instrument, that tool, that vehicle, that vessel in God's hands? What is it? What is that voice within me, that pattern within me that says, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not rich enough, you're not old enough or young enough? What is that pattern that says you're not meant to do this? Who do you think you are? What is that voice that tells me, oh, this must just be my stars. Oh, this must just be my bad karma. Oh, this must just be my bad luck. Must just be bad destiny, predestined, a bad predestiny that causes you then to give up. What is that? That's the workings of the mind. So when we say you are your worst enemy, it's only your mind. And it's only that pattern in the mind that is working against your highest and truest calling. So when you see these patterns that thwart you, that stop you, that hinder you, that paralyze you, that judge you, that condemn you, that stick you in a box, that try to keep labeling you, telling you, you are this, you are that. Just do what you would do if an unwanted guest showed up at your door. You wouldn't kill them. You wouldn't give them a bloody nose. But you wouldn't let them in. You wouldn't sit them down for tea. You'd fold your hands and you'd say, I'm so sorry. I'm busy right now. Thanks for coming by though. Bye. In the same way, when all of these thoughts of the mind come, when the patterns come, just do what you would do with that. Do what you would do when you get junk mail. How many of us get nonsense junk email? Do you actually open it? Do you actually read it? I mean, you get a junk mail that's got a title that tells you how certain parts of your body, certain organs of your body are much smaller than they should be. And if you just open this email, it'll help you make them larger. Or that tells you that there's something very wrong with other parts of your body, not appealing enough. And if you just open this email, they'll tell you how to make those parts of your body much more appealing. Or it'll tell you how to be rich. Right? I mean, everything we get. Do you actually open it? Of course not. We know. We know this is junk. Thankfully, these days, we actually now have spam filters that get better and better every day, so they don't even show up in our inbox. They go straight to spam. Straight to the junk box. This is what you need in your mind and in your life. As these thoughts come, as these patterns come, just understand, this is just junk. Has nothing to do with actual reality. Just junk. Don't open it. And slowly, slowly, slowly develop for yourself that own beautiful spam filter, junk filter, so that it stops even entering your consciousness. So that you know, I don't listen to that voice. I don't listen to that pattern. I don't listen to that nonsense. It's like, I remember when I was growing up, we had, actual radios and clock radios, and they had dials, and you would turn the dial to the radio station that you liked. And each one, the dial was a little different. Some of them, you had to actually turn it with a little more force. Some were much softer, like you would just barely touch it and the dial would move. And so in the beginning, when you'd get a new radio, it would always take a few days to really get the good knack of how to turn the dial exactly the right way to get exactly the station you wanted without all of the static and the nonsense or the country western music you didn't want to listen to. But after a few days, your fingers knew exactly how to do it. And you could immediately go from your one favorite channel to your other favorite channel. In the same way, develop for yourself that ability to not even hear that static, to not even hear the junk you don't want to hear, and to just be able to keep that dial of the mind exactly where you want it. And whether it's on your meditation, on your prayer, on your work, on your introspection, on your insight, on your love, whatever it may be, we've got so many beautiful channels to think about. But develop that ability to move through them without suddenly the dial getting weak, and suddenly you find there's all this static or all this noise playing on the radio of the mind. And you can do it. But it just takes some practice.
This is a question from Facebook, from Debajyoti Gara. I feel spiritually thirsty and sometimes just feel cautious about what I'm doing in life. Should I try to find a job in the religious organizations so that for living and basic needs, I can serve the society too?
To the extent that your job can match the calling of your heart, it's always best. If you are spiritually inclined, if you want to spend more and more time every day engaged in spiritual pursuits, and if you can find a way in a religious organization, in a spiritual organization, to make that your job, absolutely. That's fantastic then. Because then you actually get to spend the maximum number of hours of your day engaged in a practice of your heart. So absolutely, that is ideal. But if you can't necessarily find a job or a career that is in line with the call of your heart, don't worry. A lot of people have a job that's just a job, that's just a way of putting food on the table, so that during their non-job hours, during their mornings, during their evenings, during their weekends, during their days off, they're able to engage themselves fully in the call of their hearts. So the ultimate goal is to spend as much time, as much energy immersed in that call of your heart. And if that call is spirituality, if that call is service, then absolutely nothing better than a spiritual organization, a religious organization. But if not, if it doesn't work for you like that, don't worry. In that case, just understand that your job is just doing what you need to do, because these days money is the currency that our societies work by. Someday I hope there will be a different currency. But at the moment, the currency is money. Whatever you want, you need money. So okay, no problem. If you need to earn money, earn money. Make sure you're doing it, of course, in a way that is, at least at the bare minimum, in alignment with your values, in alignment with your ethics, so that you're not having to sacrifice your values, your ethics, in order to make a living. And then commit yourself to spending as much time as you can, mornings, evenings, weekends, holidays, engaging in that call of your heart. But for our beautiful question asker, whose call is spiritual, religious, whose call is to be of seva, to be of service. Absolutely. If you can find a beautiful position in a beautiful spiritual religious organization, wonderful. Nothing like being able to immerse yourself fully in that.
I want to know about sadhana. How to make life cool and energetic.
Full.
Cool.
Cool. How to make life cool and energetic. Through sadhana.
Yes.
Okay. It's cute because we always say connection to God gives us all of that which we really want. And so if, as this question asked, to make life cool and energetic, how does sadhana do that? Well, if you think from a slang term, what do we use the word cool to mean? Usually we use it in two ways. And one way is we say, oh, it's so cool, meaning, oh, it's so great. It's so wonderful. This is a really cool new book or show or app or discovery or invention or whatever it may be. Song. We say it's so cool means it's so great. So sadhana absolutely makes our life great. Because otherwise we're slaves. We're slaves to the calls of the senses. We're slaves to the ego. We're slaves to the mind. We're slaves to desires. And so we're constantly going up and down, up and down. Life is never great then. We're always wanting what we don't have. Constantly in that up and down, up and down. So sadhana absolutely makes our life great because it anchors us and grounds us within ourselves. That's not depending on the weather, the stock market, what other people are saying or doing, but that's rooted just in my own self. So that's how sadhana makes our life cool. But if we use cool in the other way, because the other way that we speak about cool, or use cool, is calm and peaceful. So we say, hey, come on, be cool. It means, hey, calm down. Don't be so hyper. Don't be so stressed. Cool down. Be cool. Meaning, be peaceful. Be calm. So sadhana also makes our life cool in that way. Because then I'm not anxious. I'm not stressed. We are stressed because we're constantly wanting more. We're constantly thinking that what I have, who I am, isn't enough. Something out there is better. I need it. I'm constantly the slave of desires. Slave of anger, slave of greed, slave of my fears. And so naturally it's hard to be cool. It's hard to be calm. It's hard to be peaceful. If everything has to be just how I want it, when I want it, what I want, well then naturally I'm stressed. I'm the opposite of cool. So if you really want to be cool and calm and peaceful, sadhana connects us to that place of just pure awareness, pure loving awareness, pure consciousness that enables us in all situations of life to just be cool, be peaceful. And lastly, it makes our life energetic, because most of us waste a lot of energy. If you are sleeping enough at night, and if you are getting proper nutrients through your food, and if you are drinking enough water, you should have plenty of energy for your day. Most of us waste our energy. That's where we become lazy. That's where we start, needing to sleep long hours in the daytime also. We sleep at night also. We sleep in the day also. Because we've become lazy. We've lost the vibrancy in the body. Because the mind has grabbed all our energy. All of that nonsense of the mind has pulled our energy. All of that anxiety and fear and longing, jealousy, hatred, grudges, takes a lot of energy. To be stressed takes a lot of energy. So when I become cool, great, and peaceful, then all the energy is able to stay with me. All of my, what we call ojas, the energy of the body, when I'm not losing it unnecessarily, when it's not being dissipated, I've got lots of energy. So sadhana becomes that great way to have the coolness that you want and all of the energy you want and everything else that you want. It is the answer, because it connects us to the truth of who we are, and it connects us to that source of everything. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, a beautiful day, and we'll see you all on Thursday again for satsang. And this is now our new time, 6 p.m. So we'll be here with you again Thursday for satsang. And if you've got questions that we didn't have time to take today, feel free to put them in the comments here on Facebook or on YouTube, and our wonderful team will collect them and bring them into satsang. And so much love to all of you from the banks of Mother Ganga.
Savitur Vare